I'm Sid.
And I'm Mike.
And this is Comedy Filmmakers Motivation Monday.
The podcast.
And I'm Carl.
Oh, Carl.
Hi, Carl.
Here again.
Every week, man.
We love
Dude.
it.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't want to get into the business of podcasting right away, but I am taking a week off next week. Who did you guys get anybody to replace me?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay, who?
Walter is going to actually be here.
Walt?
Yeah.
The dog.
The dog.
Okay,
Yeah.
you couldn't get, what's his name?
Yeah. Well, we did pitch him. We went over.
Okay.
We went over to Rob's house.
Let me guess.
Mr. Schneider. I'm
Did
so
he have
sorry. His
he had
assistant.
swimming trunks on
He was
already,
in the
right?
pool
Yeah,
already
yeah.
when we got there.
Jeez, that guy loves
His
swimming.
assistant answered the door and said, "Oh, Mr. Schneider's in the," and we're like,
Yeah.
"Pool."
Yeah.
I can't wait for the
Yeah.
cease and desist from Rob.
Yeah.
It's coming any day now.
Rob, if you're listening, and we know you are, hey, enjoy that pool, man, and make sure you're not putting too many chlorine chemicals in there because
Yeah.
it's bad for your skin. Guys, what is this podcast?
It's a Comedy Filmmakers Motivation podcast.
That's right, because we're making comedy, we're doing TV, we're doing film, we're doing our creative work, and we wanted to share that journey with the listeners outside.
Yeah, and the thing about this podcast is that you don't even have to be just a comedy filmmaker. You could just be a person.
Yeah, so that's that. We will talk about our experience making comedy, making shows and sketches, and then we're going to have a guest on as well, where we talk about sort of their experiences in their field, and that's the show.
That's what we do.
That's the show.
Here we are.
And if you're not interested in that, you might want to switch to something else.
Or just give it a shot. Keep
Yeah,
listening.
Actually, yeah, don't listen to me. Do either of you have anything that you need a little motivation on?
Yeah. Just living.
Just living.
Just living.
Sometimes it's
Wow.
Would you say
are living?
Would you say that it's been a hard week?
I wasn't going to say that, but now that you bring it up, maybe it was. This last week was really a test of boundaries. The last few weeks of a work when you're working something that you don't really necessarily you're not passionate about per se, giving your time to other people. We did a whole episode on that, and I didn't listen to one piece of advice that we got or that I gave.
We released that episode, and then a few days later, Sid took a job and said, "Do whatever you want with me. I'm not a person. I'm a cog in a machine." We have episode 4. If you're interested, we talked a lot about setting boundaries with work. And Sid, you didn't take any of those principles into the new job that you are on right now.
No, I didn't.
Shade.
No, I didn't. But that's okay. Here we are, another week of motivation, and I have just been thinking a lot about. There's just a struggle between what I know is best for me and what I need to do, and then actually doing it. And I don't know if that's because I don't love myself enough or what that is. But I'll figure it out and let you know next week.
Well, you've got people who love you.
Thank you.
You got a lot of people. Sid, I honestly say you have so many friends and you're so good at keeping up with people. And you are probably the person I know with the widest amount of friends. And
Did
they
you say the whitest?
Yeah.
Whitest?
yeah, the widest amount of
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
And
definitely
they
got a
are
lot of white
all like
friends.
ride or dies, man. Like
Yeah.
when
And it's like coast
And that's
to
because-
coast. You have a coast to coast network
Yes.
of loved ones
Aw.
supporting you.
and that's because you're an amazing person and a great friend.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And you're ride or die for all your friends. So all your friends in turn are ride or die for you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm feeling better already. I'm gonna really work on being a better friend to myself.
And you know, every hard week that you look back on is a hard week that you survived.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Ready to survive those easy weeks, baby. And Carl, do you need any motivation?
I do, in a way. I would love to just write scripts like in when I get back from this week off. Like I want to come and I want to open up Scrivener and I want to type up a script. I don't
Yes.
want to open up Premiere on my first day back from. That's my goal. Now that I know I'm talking shop here, Adobe Premiere Plus, is it Plus? No, that's the streaming service. You get to watch people edit stuff.
Yeah.
Adobe Premiere Creative Cloud.
And you can get that through Curve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you check our show notes for the extra Curve link to the Adobe Premiere Plus streaming service. It's $17.99 a month. I just want to motivate myself, and I would take it from some friends to get into that creative writing zone when I get back.
You heard it here first. You are not going to have to open up your Premiere Pro account on your first day back. to do anything related to this podcast. I don't know what else you have going on in your life, but we are not going to need it because we are going to keep this ship afloat without you. But we want you to have the space. We will create the space that you need, that you are asking for in order to write those scripts.
And the reason I want that is because I want us to release a new project that we talk about on Patreon. So if you're into our comedy narrative writing stuff, check us out on Patreon. We've made a lot of promises about that Patreon, and I think this week there will be something up on that.
we are delivering
as of recording. Cool. I feel a lot better already.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have our back. We have your back.
Yeah.
We have your back.
Yeah.
We are going. You also have had our back for the whole time of this podcast. So we're going to take on some of this work for you so that you can get back in the creative zone.
That's awesome.
I do need a little motivation. I need a little help. All right. I'm going to get serious for a second. I've got a little bit of, I need help remaining positive and fighting becoming jaded.
Well, have you ridden that Peloton this week?
It's
I have
time for the Peloton check-in.
These are connected.
There is a mental game. There is a mental
connected.
game. I will say this. I think that it's what you're saying is it's important.
Okay. I'll tell. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's important for you to let go of this this stuff that you're talking about because it hinders every step along the way, and is because I'm going to get a little woo woo here, and I'm going to say
please.
I know that we are going to get something. We're going to have that moment of like we have a show, we are now creatively like working. I know it's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but I know it's coming. So I'm not worried about the when. And I think that if you can start to let go of the when, and I know it's hard.
That's what it is. I think.
Yeah,
it's the when.
It's the when.
Because I've never felt more ready and more prepared to accept and walk into that light that is there, and I know it and I see it, and I've walked in it before, and I want to walk in it on a more consistent basis. And so
it starts from within, though, because once you get there, in order to maintain it, because that's going to change again. So whenever you get the job or like the show or whatever, it might get canceled or it's not going to live forever. And then you have to make another transition into
canceled because of something I say
else
in the future.
Yeah. This is something coming out here. We're not talking about this neuroses. We're talking about the other one.
So then you have to stay ready. And that's important. You have to start that now. You have to prove that you can do that now. I say that because I also have to do that. And that's the real stuff.
I feel like that is some of the work that I actively do is trying to stay in that place where I'm positive about these things. And so, cause I feel like I don't want to get everything that we've been working for and wanting and not be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so I know it starts now.
And not being worried about what happens when that moment ends.
There's no line. Yeah. There's no line that we're going to cross where everything's better. It's just all up here. And so like I don't want you to think that there's a version of you that you're working towards. Like you are you and we are we and we are enough. And I know it's woo woo, but like,
you know what? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling motivation.
Man, this is going to be a good one. I can tell.
So I was going to tell you, okay, so the Peloton check-in, right? Okay, so I did step one, right? I woke up the day after the last episode, and your advice was
before coffee.
So I didn't drink coffee, and I went the entire day without drinking.
Good
so
for you, man.
Step one was achieved, and then I had a headache late in the day. So, but you know what? Like next time, I'm gonna not drink the coffee and then ride the Peloton. It's just to get that step 2 out there.
The system works.
I'm ready. I'm so close.
Yeah, well done. I kind of want to pivot to our topic, which is about pivoting. It's about taking a leap. Some would say a leap of faith. Some would say making the move of going from one field or even one medium to another. So I think we've all had the experience of working a certain type of job and having to break into the job that we wanted, or the world, the industry that we wanted to work in. And so it can be scary. It's like, it can be also, Steve Pink was talking about this in the episode 8, about how it feels like there's a barrier to entry when there's really not. That barrier is also up here. I mean, obviously there are some things keeping people from working.
I do think there are barriers of entry, for sure.
I think that there are lacks of barriers for other people. I think that some people have easier routes. We're talking about Nepo babies. Hashtag Nepo babies. Check it out on Instagram. Hashtag Nepo babies.
But also
They're cute.
But also has to do with what we're talking about of taking the leap, because there is no there. So there's never going to be this constant place of you create this constant place within all the fluctuation of life.
What's the biggest leap that you guys feel like you took in your life that was sort of a leap of faith?
Out of the womb, baby.
Yeah, you wish you maybe you were thinking about staying?
I was several weeks late and very upset when I entered this world. So yeah, I'm gonna go with yeah.
I can still feel that energy.
Trying to go home.
Feeling that energy.
Just trying to get back home.
Yeah.
I was about 28 years old, and I was like, I have to do this. Even though I didn't ask to be here, I'm here. So let's make the best of it.
You changed coasts in your life
several times.
Was that a big leap, or was that sort of an easy thing to do?
It was a big leap. I've moved across the country 3 times. And I think the biggest leap, though, was working in deciding I'm going to be a freelancer. That was definitely a big leap. And I'm still leaping, as one might say.
And there's also the leap from freelance producer, which is what you're doing, to freelance creator, creator of television show.
That's
staff writer.
That's
performer.
Something I'm really working on. And you know what's interesting? Last night, I watched that TV show Beef, and I really liked that character that Ali Wong plays. I was like, wow, this would be such a killer character. And I am not an actor per se.
Okay.
Whoa.
Hang on a second. We're going to take a little second here and just back it up. Sid, you are an actor. Okay?
You're an incredible actor.
You're a great performer. We have stuff that hasn't even seen the light of day that people are going to get to see, where you do some crazy,
I've
awesome
had the
stuff.
honor of standing in front of you, against you, whatever that is. I've acted with you, and I've looked into those eyes while we were in a scene, and there's something behind there.
There's fire.
There's something behind there.
Sometimes there's ice.
But the point is I'm not actively having faith in myself to say, hey, I don't even have headshots. I'm gonna go get headshots. I might even do an audition. Like, maybe there's other characters out there besides Sid from Sid and Mike that I'd like to explore that I just stopped doing because I got very jaded, and I really wanted to go work on the other side of the camera where I could make some choices. And last night I said out loud, I was like, I think I want to be an actor. And I said it out loud in my kitchen. I went, oh my gosh. I just said that out loud.
And now I'm saying it shaking, rumbling.
Yes. And now I'm on the podcast saying it.
Walter's eyes started glowing.
This apartment's about to explode because I'm saying it again. Okay.
I think even let's upgrade that to I am an actor.
I am. Yeah. I mean, I went to acting school.
She's a trained actor. She's a trained actor, people.
But that's a leap. It's all a leap.
She's super dramatic.
Yeah.
Well, that's sold separately.
I think we should take a little break,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think we should talk to our guest.
Ready.
I like that.
Let's do it.
Coming this fall, it's Adobe Premiere Plus, the streaming service from Adobe.
Have you ever wanted to watch a show and watch the editing of the show at the same time? Look no further than Adobe Premiere Plus.
We're all always wondering, how did they do this? And now you can see.
Crossfading is one of the most intense things to watch an editor do. Crossfading between clips, crossfading between audio clips.
Is that an L cut or a J cut? Well, now you're going to know.
You're going to know exactly what's going on from every angle.
And their first premiere show is a show called Nepo Babies.
Meet Dewey. He's a cute little baby, and his dad is Arnold Schwarzenegger's agent, and he's a scamp.
His best friend is Sapphire, and her mom is a Broadway musical director.
And together, they can do whatever they want to do because they're Nepo babies.
That's right. They have any job they want, and sometimes their boss is someone like Blue Ivy as a guest appearance, and you'll get to see it week after week on Adobe Premiere Plus coming this fall. Nepo babies. They're cute, they're rich, and they definitely got where they are completely on their own.
Adobe Premiere Plus, the streaming service, is only $29.99 a week. And
right.
if you use the code NEPO2023, no, it's Nepo Baby 2023. Sorry about that.
So it's Nepo 2023.
No, it's Nepo
sorry,
Baby.
Nepo Babies 2023. Sorry about that.
Anyway, if you use that code, you get a week free. That's all I was going to say.
It's Adobe Premiere Plus, the streaming service from Adobe.
Seamlessly, beautifully on Adobe Premiere Plus.
Nepo Babies, the cute little children's program. It's coming soon on Adobe Premiere Plus. All right, we're back.
We're back.
We are talking about taking that leap.
Our guest today got to where she is without any kind of nepotism.
That's true, as far as we know.
As far as we know. We'll find out in a moment.
She's a writer, an actor, a producer, and a performer, both on the stage and the screen. Last year, her sketch group's independent pilot took the Best Writers Award at Series Fest, a film festival in Denver that focuses on television and episodic work. And that's actually where we met her.
Yes.
It's Aizzah Fatima.
Hey!
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. This has been the best part of my morning so far.
Thank you so much for being here.
We
It's
do these.
awesome.
We shoot these at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So
She has
for the
a whole
rush hour.
day.
yeah,
It's for rush hour.
nothing else has happened to her today but this.
Yeah.
we made her sleep here the night before so we could get started.
Yeah. This is for the people that are on their way to work in the morning, and it's pre-recorded, so it doesn't have to be live, but we feel like it's best to get in that mindset with our listeners.
Yeah. It helps keep the truckers awake.
That's the audience for this.
That is our audience.
Truckers.
Yeah, yeah.
Truck drivers, mainly Teamsters. For a lot of Teamsters tell us that write us emails all the time saying like, "Oh, you guys are great.
Yeah,
you guys is
Yeah,
so
that's
funny.
what they say, yeah.
Oh my god, you guys is fucking hilarious."
Yeah. I love it. And they use the best stationery to write those letters. Very, very fast.
I'm like,
very
guys,
unexpected.
send me an email. Like, this fucking guy wants me to get on the computer and send a letter.
I hope this letter finds you well, my dearest Michael. Anyway, so any of you Teamsters, please keep reaching out. We love hearing from you.
Mm-hmm.
Aizzah,
Yes.
let's talk about Series Fest a little bit because that's how we met. We met at
Yeah.
Series Fest, and Series Fest is cool. I don't know if we've really talked about it on the show yet. It's a film festival for people making TV shows. And
We were there 2022.
we brought our proof of concept for the Sid and Mike sketch show, and it played in their late night block, and we won the Audience Choice Award.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, doggy.
We're all award winners here. Series
Yeah.
Fest award winners in a row. Look at us.
Your show, Muslim Women DTF, which I think is doing
Muslim girls, DTF.
Sorry, Muslim Girls DTF.
DTF.
Maybe I was trying to have a little more respect.
Yeah. But then
That DTF is down to Flash Mob. 'Cause those were like a thing in 2011. But if you don't know what a Flash Mob is, we're going to put a link to one in the show notes.
That segment was brought to you by Lies and Silly Stuff.
So Muslim Girls DTF, which stands for
discuss their faith.
and it was a sketch. It was a sketch show. You had a framework where you were directly talking to camera,
Yeah.
your writers and performers, and then you had sketches in between that.
Hilarious sketches.
Really
Really
funny.
good.
And you guys won 2 awards at Series Fest.
That's
for
right,
that.
we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
Best writers, and then the Kaz.
The Kaz Matthews Fund Award,
Yeah.
for shows that tackle a social justice kind of an issue. So, which we were doing.
They gave you a little money.
They gave us little monies,
Nice.
which was nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Are you guys doing anything with that show? Are you still working it? Because you did a round of festivals with that, right?
Yeah, we did a round, and then we took that monies and went to Paris, and that was
Hey.
what we're doing with the show.
I love that.
No, it's
Jay-Z and Kanye did that once, I think. Am I allowed to bring
What's
that
the
up?
title? What's the title of that?
I don't want to be in that category. But yeah, no. So that show, we got it into the Gotham market, and we pitched it around a little bit, and we're actually then it's not on TV yet. But then we also got another. So we got a Becoming America grant, and part of this grant is we got a grant to do stuff for social media. So we're just creating completely different from what you saw at Series Fest, just sketches filmed on our phones for social media. And so they're just like 8 seconds to like 30 seconds long. Little
I love that.
short.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we call that sustainable content.
That's right.
Sustainable content.
Because you can
yes.
make it and not break the bank.
Yeah,
you know?
so we're kind of doing that. We're in that phase right now, and that ends.
And that's a collaboration with
A theater?
that is with a theater as well, but it's a Becoming America grant with the Pop Culture Collab.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah, and so we have a bunch of we were able to like kind of add a bunch more Muslim female comics to the roster and have them collaborate, and there are people out in LA who are doing it, and New York, and people in the Midwest. So it's been a really fun.
That's really important. That's awesome. I loved your show when we saw it last year at Series Fest, and I think what you're doing is so important at the year. We want to get her on the pod as well.
Yeah.
She's
Future guest of
hilarious.
the show.
Like,
She was a co-writer on Muslim Girls DTF.
you guys are so funny. Like, so it's smart. Everything is so smart. And I just, yes, I'm really happy that you're here to talk about how you even decided to get into all this and how you keep it going.
Yeah, let's take it back a little further because you have a very interesting bio in that you started as a microbiologist.
I sure did.
Even
sure
go
did.
further back. So you
Stupid.
grew up in Mississippi,
I did. I grew up in Mississippi.
and you were interested in theater as a high schooler.
yeah, I think I was a little bit interested in theater as a high schooler, but it didn't go anywhere.
Right.
My dad kind of squished it all. I was like, I think I want to major in theater, Dad. I think I was in 9th grade, and he goes, only prostitutes and hookers go into acting.
Oh my God.
Seriously, my dad was so hardcore. He was like, that's what happens when you act. So
And
I
now
was
there's
like, okay.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So I mean, he might have
so
been
he
right.
was right.
Yeah.
He was right all along. And I think for, being a kid of immigrant parents, it just wasn't a thing. I didn't know how I would make a living from it. I didn't know anybody who was, and I wanted to do theater. I did not even want to do film or TV. I didn't even think that was a possibility. So
Yeah, I can recognize a little bit of privilege in that I grew up thinking I'm going to have a creative career, and my mom being
love
like,
it.
"You definitely will. I believe in you so much." And like, that's like, we hear a lot about that. Like, oh, everyone told everyone that they believed in them, and then now no one wants to work anymore or whatever. And I'm like, no, there's a lot that comes into like a parent is really just trying to make it so that their kid can survive in the world.
Yeah.
And I think one thing at that time, if you looked around, I mean, how many people like you were working in theater at that time?
nobody
Like, not a lot.
I knew.
So
well,
it's-
nobody I knew was working in theater, period.
Right.
This is like, we're talking small town. We're talking population of 15,000 people.
Uh-huh.
Small town. I don't know anybody who worked in theater who made a living. There was a community theater in town, and I was involved with that. There was this, theater stuff at high school that I was doing, but that was about it.
So he like crushed your goals, your aspirations,
all my dreams, basically.
and then
yeah.
and so then what where did you go from there?
I know. And so, it's interesting. People talk, there's so much focus on STEM and STEAM now. And it's like in my household, that was the only focus. It was like girls studied science or math. That's all I ever knew. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm good at both. But what do you do if you study math? I was like, you just become a teacher. In my head, this is all
Right.
I knew at the age of whatever.
in Mississippi.
In Mississippi, 16, 17.
Was this public school in Mississippi?
This is public school in Mississippi.
I grew up in
friends.
Alabama, and I went to public school.
You
and
know what's
we were
up.
always thankful for Mississippi because we were always 49th ranked.
And we were
in
the last.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. Mississippi is number 1 in like poverty,
Illiteracy.
teenage pregnancy. We are number
Yes.
1 winning.
Drag
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I know. But then we used to be like, at least we're not Alabama because they married their cousins.
Hey, my cousin's a lovely person. She's a great wife.
Awesome.
You were a microbiologist, and then you started working for Google. Were you doing microbiology for Google? What are they up to? Is Google building super?
Is there an
I
NDA?
signed an NDA.
Can you tell us?
I can't.
We break NDAs on this podcast.
Gotcha.
No worries at
That's
all.
our policy here. Is
Yeah.
no such thing as an NDA.
None.
Oh my goodness. No, I just kind of got lucky. So I also have a second degree also in computer information systems. So that was kind of where I think that it's so
Very
interesting.
creative.
All of it is so creative.
Yeah, your path was
Can I
shooting you
just say,
straight
though,
towards comedy.
I took a micro nap during the job description.
So bad. Okay, I think science is very creative. I really do believe science and research, and I think that stuff is very creative because I was doing it all throughout my undergrad. I was working in a research lab, and I don't know. I think there are parallels there a little bit.
Yeah, you have to be able to
Problem solving feels very much. It feels very creative.
Think
like
creatively.
It
when I'm
is. You're
doing
putting
it,
together the different pieces
Yeah.
of the things, and that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing at Google. I was problem solving, really solving a puzzle. So if you're into that, and I think what that does kind of speak to the creative, especially now where we're all like, you know, artistpreneurs, right? We're all like creators.
Oh, I like
It
that.
is, and that is the piece. That's like the producing piece. So it's producing. You're problem solving, and I didn't know those skills translated that well until I started doing it.
We were joking and dragging that career, but I think that you make a good point is that you can find ways to be creative in everything. I think the more you look at anything you're doing creatively, the more you're able to have some fun with it. And I like one story from my past is I was waiting tables up here, and I was doing the expediter job, which is the person at the window where the food comes out telling the waiter where to take it. And you have to be really organized, and I was really bad at it. And I came home and I was like, I'm going to lose this job like tomorrow. And my wife was like, well, you're a trained actor. By the way, I'm also a trained actor. Yeah. My dear cousin. She said, you have all this acting training, and all you have to do is go into that job and act like you're a food runner. Act like you're the expediter.
I do this all the
time. Play the role of the waiter.
Play the role.
And immediately I was like so much better at that job, having more fun, like actually making connections there that I like, it's like you start thinking creatively in anything. And I think I would encourage everyone to do that.
It's a great piece of advice. And you're right, because when you said there are parallels, I was just thinking about that in life. Like everything can be creative depending on how you look at it, and there's always an opportunity to learn things that you take later with you when you're making your own stuff.
But let's also be real, there are some very soul-sucking jobs out there.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to tell me twice.
All of it. So at Google, honestly, look, it was a very creative place and actually gave me this environment to take the creative leap that I did, because a lot of people there were doing that. So you would always meet literally the professional ballroom dancer who was now working at Google, or the New York Times bestseller who was a lawyer at Google, or, whatever, you name it. So it was, but the job was a little bit soul-sucking at the end of the day, because only a portion of it was that problem solving that I liked. And then a lot of it was just like, respond to this email.
Yes.
30 times the same question.
Yes.
Get on this call.
Get on this call. Yeah.
Sit on this call and listen to stuff that you don't need to hear.
When was that you, stepped away from Google and decided that you were going to live creatively all the time?
How'd that first leap happen?
Yeah, it was sort of kind of by accident. So I was there was a guy I met who was an engineer at Google he told me he was taking flight lessons for fun. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I should do something for fun. And so I took a class at NYU for fun. It was like improv and intro to acting at NYU in evenings. From that, I was just like, I should do some more for fun. And the guy who was teaching it at the time was also a working actor. He invited me to study Meisner privately with him. I did that. And then I was like, this class is not for me, but I think acting is for me. And so then I there was this evening conservatory at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. So I did that conservatory. It was a 2-year conservatory. I did that.
While you had a job?
While I had a job, because it was in the evenings.
Wow.
It was like 4 evenings a week, I think, and then you had rehearsals.
A busy schedule.
That's a strange definition of for fun.
For fun. I know.
But did you know that you were gonna
I think I was fooling myself into like being like, I'm not gonna do this forever for full time, because I didn't know how. I honestly didn't know how. So I was just like,
wait, which? You didn't know you were gonna do which forever?
I didn't know I could do acting.
Okay,
I didn't know that could be a career choice. Even though I was in New York, even though I was taking these classes, I didn't know. So then I started auditioning for fun also. I was like, I'm just going to audition for fun.
For anybody that has never gone on an audition, so much fun.
Yeah, they really are a blast.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take this advice into the rest. I'm just doing this for fun.
Yeah, this is good.
I was just doing it for fun because it was my outlet, because the job was the job and it was very technical and sometimes not a lot of fun. So I was like, well, I enjoy this and I have this other outlet. So I'm going to do this creative stuff for fun, right? And then I started auditioning, and it was very much like, it was theater. It was off Broadway, stuff you've never heard of. And like,
Try me.
It's like Hamlet, naked.
I've heard of Hamlet.
Heard of Hamlet. I've heard it.
Naked mud wrestling
It sounds-
Hamlet.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I am not lying
I know, we've
when
all
I tell
done
you
it.
that
We've all done it.
in theater, I did a show called Naked Hamlet.
No, you
No.
And I
didn't.
had to hold a frozen turkey and do a monologue. I swear to
In
God.
a black
No.
box theater?
No, it was on a proscenium
To
stage.
be or not? Is that to be or not to be?
No.
Were you naked?
I did. Oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt something and
While holding a
something,
frozen
something.
turkey?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Is there footage of this somewhere?
No, I wish.
Come
Oh,
on.
maybe I don't know.
Well-
I'll reach out to the theater department of the University of Montevallo and see if they can send me some VHS tapes that I'll convert and we'll put them in the show notes.
Oh man. Okay, so I have to come back. You were at ADA with all of the Nepo babies.
Doing
We're
Meisner?
doing stuff
Oh,
at
it was
night.
so much neponess. Yeah. No, I also just felt like I didn't belong. Again, they set you up to think you don't, because what they would do is they would take the pretty, really hot. I remember we had a redhead, lovely actor also, and the hot, blonde, blue-eyed guy, white guy, and they would get all the roles. And then I was playing their 60-year-old granny.
Oh.
And there was that with 2 lines on stage. So it was literally that. And then I remember one time I was like, I said to one of my speech teachers, I was like, oh, we were doing monologues. And I was like, oh, should I do like a Southern accent monologue? Why would you ever need to do that? Like, why?
Oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
But in my head, I was like, no, I grew up
in the
there.
South-
I
yeah.
can do one. And they're like, no, you're not going to do that. So
Yeah.
it was like all these limitations, And so I was like, well, that experience was not for me. And then this auditioning for this naked Hamlet with the mud was not for me. And
Oh, you
so-
didn't book that one.
I did not. So there weren't any parts really. I just like kind of by chance ended up taking. I remember I was like auditioning and I was like, this is shit writing. I was like, oh my God, I'm not even a writer, but I think I can write better than this.
Oh man,
That's where it starts.
this is an inspirational story. You're literally like approaching stuff with like this really I'm gonna have fun with this, and then you're seeing the problem. And you're like, I'm gonna fucking fix this. Like,
Well, I was like, I'll just write for me and I think I can write better. I think, And so I took a class. I took a solo show writing class with Matt Hoverman, who's brilliant. And I don't want to get emotional on this, guys,
it.
but oh no.
yeah,
No, but he kind of like, he saw I was a writer before I ever did.
Oh,
That's
He
amazing.
was
That's
like,
amazing.
you're a writer.
Look at, I have goosebumps.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yes.
He did, and he was just like, you should, and it was so hard because not Nepo babies, but in my class, it was like these brilliant women, and they were like, I'm a triple threat. And I was like, fuck, my dad said dancing was haram. What am I doing here? There was a woman there. There was a woman, she was like, my grandma was a Broadway dancer. She was like a Broadway star. And I was like, fuck, like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, So it was that. And every day I remember like walking to that class after work and I felt like I didn't belong in there. And yeah. So it was Matt. He was like, you should write. And so I did. I wrote this thing that became a one-woman show. It's called Dirty Peggy Lingerie. And
then that became a feature, right?
that became eventually a feature more recently. Yeah, but I've been performing that for like since 2011.
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
I'm so inspired right now.
This
I
is awesome.
am. This
also,
is
like the Meisner stuff really worked because those tears are so like you really like got like
Yeah.
This is all performance. Like,
Trying to
we
stop
we sent her the script last night for this episode, and
Yeah.
you're
You're
so off. I expect you to be holding the script. You're off book. You got the tears
I did
like
it.
Going.
so
On
naturally.
cue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done. So
Amazing.
speaking of Meisner, we're gonna take a little break.
Wow, guys. So Adobe Premiere Plus sent us the first season of Nepo Babies, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. They also sent us another show.
This show was amazing. It's girls down to flash mob,
Oh,
and
they
it's
dance anywhere, anytime, all choreographed, all public places.
written by Lena Dunham. She plays a 20-something millennial fortune teller.
Yes, and the thing is about this show is they took the whole cast from Nepo Babies and they put it in this show because
Yeah,
that's
and it's in naked and mud.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
naked mud wrestling.
Naked
Yeah.
mud dancing.
All the characters from Nepo Babies all growed up,
yeah.
doing naked mud wrestling and dancing, reciting Shakespeare.
Yeah. What
And
happens
then-
is one of those cement trucks comes through the street. It's usually in an outdoor place, and they shoot mud everywhere. And then a flash mob of girls, the Nepo Babies, all grown up, come out and they dance and fight in the mud.
I think by the time
We're all grown up.
it turns out by the time that this episode comes out, Adobe Premiere Plus, the streaming service, will have been canceled.
Guys, check it out. It's coming out
you-
next summer. It's called Girls, Girls, Girls DTF. It's all ages. It's definitely meant for the whole family.
If you like dancing, it's a show for you. If you like wrestling, it's a show for you.
If you like Nepo babies, it's a show for you.
If you like mud, it's a show for you. And if you like people getting their clothes torn off, it's definitely a show for you.
And it's all vertical.
This sounds wild.
See you on CISO.
You asked for that, Sasha. That's your fault.
That was your fault.
I want to pivot back into our conversation and with my friends here.
Leaping back in, breaking barriers. Like when we saw Muslim Girls DTF, like it's a really important conversation, and I feel like you have embraced who you are. And
Didn't you do drag in that?
Yes, that's me.
Yes,
That's
so
me.
that's a hot topic right now. Just saying, we're
Watch
getting you.
it.
Yeah, all the people in Mississippi listening to the Mississippi's
The truckers.
favorite daughter.
You know what? It's interesting that you said that about the base and building back up, but I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm always exploring and I'm always exploring the same stuff. I don't know when you're in it if you see it that way. It's interesting that you see it that way. I don't for myself, but maybe you're right. So I don't know, maybe don't wait for the point to like break yourself down and then build yourself up. Just do the thing.
I like that because I probably am there. I mean, there's no
I'm
right
curious.
or wrong.
I'm
I
curious
I
think
also
how-
didn't answer the question of what's next. I will.
Oh, yeah,
We'll get there.
Well, I'm curious how so there's this time when you're working at Google
Yeah.
and you're doing the one woman show at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're doing these auditions and stuff. So there had to come a point
Yeah.
when you knew I have to leave Google. I have to leave the security blanket of making a paycheck that is stable. I have to
Yeah.
leave the stability in order to chase these dreams. And that, I think, for anybody that is going to go down this creative path is a point in time that you will be challenged with. I mean, it's gonna happen. So when did that time come for you, and what did that look like for you personally?
It came a couple of years into me performing Dirty Pecky Lingerie. So I had a bunch of things just kind of lined up. I really wanted to, I had heard of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. It's the largest theater festival in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And back then
It's in Scotland, people.
in Scotland, people, it's a magical place. It's amazing. I wanted to take the show there, and in the process of finding out what that looks like, I was like, oh, it's a month-long engagement. And they actually don't give you, so there's like the 4 big venues. If you get into one of those, they don't play around. They're like, you're here for a month. We're not going to give you a week or two because
And it's every night, like 6
and
nights
it's
a
every
week?
night, and it's 7 nights.
Seven
It's
nights
7
a
nights.
week.
So you do 25 shows. You get 1 day off. There's
That's
a Monday
intense.
that you take off, I think.
This sounds like theater.
It sounds like
Anyone who's ever done theater is
It's
like, yeah, that sounds right.
So I wanted to do that, and then I got in, and then I got into the venue, and that was a month-long engagement. And then I got asked to tour in Pakistan with the U.S. State Department, and then I booked my first regional show, and they were really all back to back. So the regional show was outside of New York, and it was like a 6-week contract. The tour in Pakistan, at that point, we were talking about 3 to 4 weeks. And then this was Edinburgh, was a week. So I had things lined up for like 3 months.
And Google was like, cool, yeah, no, just to take a hiatus and come back.
Well, sometimes people did that. You know what? Sometimes people at that time, people were sometimes taking hiatus and coming in. People were so chill. Yeah. There was somebody I worked with who was thinking about doing that, was doing that. And but then I just kind of thought, they were not going to be cool with me taking 3 months off. I don't think so. Where my team was and where I was, I don't think it was going to happen. So I think for me, it was just like making that decision. It's like, okay, either it's now or it's never. Either I say no to all of these things because there's no way, right? Or
How was that for you? Was it were you filled with anxiety?
It was a tough decision. I knew I had savings. That would last me like 3 years maybe, because I was
Wow.
working at Google, guys. I was
Yeah,
working at Google. I mean,
yeah.
I had savings,
Okay.
you know, and I was making stupid money, like stupid money for a 20-some-year-old that you never in your life think you would ever make that kind of money. You know, I was making really stupid
Yeah,
money.
let's talk about it. Let's get into numbers. What's in your savings
have an
right now?
NDA.
Did you go
What's your
through?
typical FICA payment?
Did you blow through all the savings over the
Definitely
next 3 years?
did. I definitely did.
Yeah,
because that's how
that
it
sounds
works
about
when you're
right.
an artist. Yeah, I have none of it. But at the time I did, and I was like, okay, let's just take this leap of faith and let's see what happens, And I did, and I'm glad.
Congratulations! It's a hard thing to do.
What do you do now? Like, do you still ever get anxiety now that you're not in a very secure job?
I used to so much.
Okay.
The first few years, the first whole year, every day I would wake up, I'd be like, maybe I should go back then for my job back. Like maybe every day.
Right? Yeah.
And then it was weekly and then was monthly. And now it's like once in a while. And now honestly, no, it's not once in a while. Now I feel pretty secure because I do what artists do. I do the artist hustle. I have 10 jobs.
Yeah.
And
what does your dad think?
My dad is hilarious. So there's so much prestige attached to Dirty Packy Lingerie because it was on NPR. It was on the Wall Street Journal.
Congratulations.
It was in the New York Times. So because
Dads
of
love
the
those
prestige,
things.
he's just like, oh, okay.
Dads love
good
NPR.
job. They love, and my dad is addicted to NPR. Yes. So because of that. So, I think he is kind of on board. Yeah.
My dad's going to feel that way when Comedy Filmmakers Motivation Mondays
pops off.
Hi, Dad. He listens.
I just want to give a piece of advice to anybody out there listening. You quit the job at Google. So my advice is get yourself fired. Get yourself fired. Get yourself a severance package. Get a severance package and ride that shit out.
Smart.
And then you also can get unemployment after that. So
it's kind of hard to get yourself fired.
I'm dead serious.
There's an episode, I think in season 2 of Better Call Saul, where he gets himself fired. That's some homework. If you're trying to get yourself fired, go watch that episode. He does some brilliant stuff because you can't just like do something.
It's tough.
If you're fired for like a reason, then you don't get the severance. Yeah. It has to be like
you got to start slacking. You got to start slacking. You got to start coming in late.
Right.
Anyway. I know. Email us. I'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah, I want to frame it up this way. So let's say that there's somebody right now who's in a job, but they want to be in that creative field. They want to take that leap. What's some advice you could give to somebody like that?
Yeah, I think just like wet your toes a little bit. Kind of like I did. Just try it out.
For fun.
And see what it's like. Do it on the side. Do it small. You don't have to go big. And
I think
see
what you're
the
saying,
universe
doing it
tells
for
you.
fun really brings down the stakes. So the stakes aren't like high. It's not like do or die. I have to make this work or else I'm not,
Well, I feel like that was a lot of the artists I was meeting, even in my classes with Matt and stuff. And a lot of people were like, I got to do this. It hasn't landed. Nothing's happening. I'm in my 30s. Right. And that kind of energy. And those people, I don't think this ever made those shows. I don't know what happened. Right. So, yeah. But just a lot of artists in general, like when you come to something with that. So stop it. Stop it.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted.
You're carrying that stuff around. You don't have to.
It's interesting. Have you always been in a creative career?
No. I was doing other stuff. I came to this. I was working in real estate was the job that I was doing before I got into this. And I started kind of doing stuff for fun, just exploring. And then at a certain point I was like, I have to do it. I have to like make that leap of faith.
I know what you're talking about because I moved out to LA for a few years and trying to collaborate with the people that I met out there. Everyone was making things to get their big break and make it happen instead of just making things because they really want to make things. And that's working with Mike and Carl brings it's fun. We do it because we have fun and that's really important.
You said something really interesting. So collaboration. We see that you collaborate with a lot of different people, and you have really found your community. Yeah. It seems like, and your people, which we always talk.
Ups and downs. I mean, I'll be honest, it's been hard. Some of it has been really hard.
Yeah. Collaboration is
hard. Yeah, but I think the collaboration with Some Girls UTF with Athir has been amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
That's been amazing. Yeah. And I think it's also a part of me is like I came to her after collaborating with other people on like 3 other big projects, right? So I think I also learned stuff about myself, and then I knew what kind of collaboration and how what it should look like when it's good and healthy. So I think maybe that's why it works.
What's next? What's coming up next, or what do you want to be coming up next? Like either you can take that fork in the road. in either direction.
No, I am working on a feature film script right now that it's a story I really want to tell. It's very close to my heart. It's about my crazy ass childhood growing up in Mississippi. Going to church, but it wasn't just any old church. It was like Church of God. I went there with my best friend where they speak in tongues, and it's
crazy good and easy for a Muslim person
a Muslim person
growing
up in Mississippi.
Yeah. I imagine that would be an easy road.
It's that coming of age story that I really want to tell, but it's a comedy. Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
great.
I'm already excited for it. You're so talented.
Oh,
I'm
thank
really
you.
inspired by everything, just your work ethic.
Your outlook is so
and
cool.
outlook is I aspire to live that way.
You
So-
guys are awesome. What are you talking about? You're killing it.
Oh.
We have a show, podcast, your sketch stuff. Come on.
Hey,
Oh my
whose
God.
podcast
Hold
is
on,
this?
guys.
You're
She's gonna make me
motivating us.
She's making me
Do
emotional.
you need any motivation?
Yeah.
We're here.
No, I do. I feel like I always need motivation because I have to do this rewrite and I haven't done it. I said I would do it by the end of April. And now we're at, what's
Just
happening.
have fun with
All right,
it.
here
Just
we
be
go.
like, I'm gonna do this rewrite because I want to do it for fun, and
I
there's no
know.
stakes.
Oh,
It's just
man.
I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna look at it, and I'm just gonna, there's no stakes. It's
I
no
love
big. It's
this.
no big deal. It's
I
no
love
big deal.
this.
We're just gonna get in. I'm gonna get in my zone, and we're gonna have fun with it.
I
We're
think
gonna
What's
see
this?
what
that's
could
not
be
the
better.
issue. Like the bigger issue for me is like finding the time, right? Because when you do have
You
the
make
10
the
hustle
time.
jobs,
You don't find the
yes.
time.
Okay, I'm gonna make the time.
And say I'm gonna block out this hour
Yeah.
for myself. And if you find yourself scrolling or doing whatever you do, that's what I do. Or
Do it.
Yeah, you are. We believe in you. Are
I'm
you-
excited to hear that. I'm excited to hear that story, to watch that story. It sounds really awesome. I have not seen a story like that, and I would love it. I would love it.
Well, I didn't even get to tell you the best part.
Oh, yeah. I'm
It's
sorry.
No, I didn't even tell you the best part. It's about a teenager who's undocumented because I was undocumented as a child, and she has to win a pageant. It's called Miss Christian Babe. So the title of the story, it's called Miss Christian Babe.
That is a hook.
Said that's the thing. Yeah, I'm
You
so
got a
excited.
hook.
I'm excited. to
your
write this.
titles are killer.
Come to me for your titles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
yes.
is too good to leave on the I need to rewrite this plate. It's time
No,
to
I
get in
get
there.
it.
Make some time.
Get in there. Yeah.
Let us know when you finish it. If you want people to find you online, where can they find you
Just
online?
my name. Just I'm everywhere.
There
It's
you
just on Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
We do one little thing at the end of every show.
Spin the wheel. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Our
Let
pro-
Carl say
Our
it.
producer Sasha is going to give us a prompt so that we can come up with a fake pitch.
That was better
Spin
than
that wheel. And the
And-
wheel is spinning, and the
Whoa.
wheel
Oh,
is
spin is
spinning.
bad.
Do you
There we
feel-
go.
Do you feel drunk now just watching this?
Parrot. It says parrot.
No, it's
Tarot.
What is going on?
Tarot.
Wait, it's the
Do
color
we have a
cards.
parrot? Can we get a parrot to say, all right, parrot, say 2 words?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I have
Just
a parrot
like-
right over here.
Okay, and now what do I do with these cards?
Tell
What?
us what they say. Show the cameras too.
It says peace and protection.
Peace,
What does
protection.
that? So now we come up with a pitch using these two,
Are we doing our
So-
own
like
individual?
a TV show.
We are doing our own individuals. You can pitch anything. You can pitch a show, a dance concert, a new
podcast.
recipe for barbecue, anything. Using those 2 words
Any
as a
pitch.
prompt, and the title is up to you. You can title this thing anything you want. So 30 seconds are on the clock, and we are going with fake pitches right now. Peace and protection.
Who starts?
Are you
You
pointing?
just started.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how this game works. First person to talk. No, just kidding. Actually, our guests all get one get
Yeah.
out of jail free
Yeah,
card.
you
can
don't have
play
to
it
go
at
first.
any time, which means that you don't have to fake pitch, and you can play that card at any time.
So Peace Protection is a Trojan advertising campaign in collaboration with Goop. And it's all about peace and finding that peace, protecting that peace, and not having to rely on Plan Bs.
It's interesting thinking about Trojans as a container for Goop. Like,
Okay, Carl.
what? Gwyneth Paltrow's company, it's an interesting vehicle for them. Yeah.
All right. Peace Protection is a new documentary on Adobe Premiere Plus streaming service. And it's just Nepo babies not having to deal with anything but protecting their peace because no one comes at them because they just have PR agencies and their parents keep them from any negativity in their life. They don't even read all this shit on the internet about them.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I'm gonna. Peace Protection is actually a new TV show that's going to be filmed in China, where they're going to go around and monitor what's going on with the Uyghur community there, which are the Muslim people that are being put into concentration camps. That's going to be peace protection.
That's important and real.
Wow. I was making Gwyneth
That got
Paltrow
real. That got
jokes.
goo.
We have a platform.
You
I'm
were
glad I
talking
get to follow
about
that.
dicks and condoms.
Look, we have
just
a
so we're
platform
clear.
where we can talk about things, and I talk about penises and goop.
I'm so glad I get to follow the bit about the Uyghur Muslims in China. Actually, definitely do some research. If you don't know about that, you should definitely look into it and do some reading. Peace Protection is a horror film. We are ripping off those other horror films where like no one's allowed to talk. What's it called? Quiet Place? A Quiet Place? And
A Quiet
Place 2.
And Quiet
we're
Place.
just ripping that off. We're just doing that exact same thing, but with different actors who nobody's heard of. It's gonna be
Unknowns?
cheap, unknown actors.
Okay.
We're the sets-
$50,000 budget.
cheap. Yeah, we're using a set from a movie that just got shot. So like
They threw it out. We're dumpster diving for sets.
We're shooting in the dumpster. Yeah, this whole thing.
The whole film takes place inside a dumpster.
Yeah, the dumpster. Now we have outfitted the dumpster with dampening stuff, so it's actually a great soundstage. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So anyway, on the show, the whole thing is about if you make a noise, you get killed by a monster. You know, it's a quiet place. We're just ripping off a quiet place.
Yeah.
Read the description of a quiet place. That's my pitch.
But it's Quiet Place. You have to have another comp that it's Quiet Place
Meets
in a dumpster.
what?
Quiet
Right.
Place in a dumpster.
It's Quiet Place meets Oscar the Grouch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
Yeah.
there's puppets.
This
Is
is
it Jim
the
Henson's-
actual real
Jim
Oscar
Henson's
the Grouch that the
Quiet
puppet
Pla-
is based on. He's a real human being who's just covered in green.
I like
fur
that.
'cause
And
he's so
I
dirty.
think we have a photo of him. We'll
Yeah.
put it up right here.
Yeah, it's popping up on the episode on YouTube, and we'll also throw it in the show notes.
Great.
That's my pitch.
I like that one.
How do you feel? Do we get green lights?
We only got one.
Oh.
That's the first
Wow.
time that's
Wow.
happened, but that was, I mean, you really came in there with that heartfelt, like, you're going to be.
I got so
yeah.
political.
You know how
Yeah.
to get into Tribeca.
I have yet to get into Tribeca. Are you here?
Well, after they listen to this episode, you're in.
We got some connections
You're
there.
actually going to get some funding to
I'll throw
make
you a few
this.
names.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm getting some funding.
Yeah,
Whoa.
funding.
My ad campaign came a little prematurely, so
In goop.
That's the end. That's the end of the episode right there.
I can't go on.
Well done. Well done,
that's
sir.
the sequel.
Oh my God,
You
that
know,
was good.
I just love to see men thrive.
Been a painful one.
Oh.
This ending.
Hey, she pulled the cards, man. What am I supposed to do? Come up with something that actually matters and talk about marginalized communities and use our platform for good?
Nope.
I choose no.
Blue comedy,
He
baby.
just wants to do dick jokes. It's fine.
If,
You heard it here first.
Yeah, if people want this stuff, they can go to NPR.
That's true. Some of the best dick jokes around on NPR.
Oh my God.
All right, you guys.
Thanks for
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
This was amazing.
we have
You're
for having
me.
amazing.
This is
You're
awesome.
so funny and smart and inspiring. Thank you so much.
Would you come back?
I would love to come back.
Yeah, we'd love to
This
have
was
you.
so much fun.
And
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're excited to.
We're going to read your entire feature on our Patreon podcast.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we'd love to
Done.
have you back. And you know what? We also love hearing from our listeners. So come and find us online. Go to our Instagram at Sid and Mike. Go to, at YouTube at Sid and Mike on YouTube. You can email us at sydandmikenyc@gmail.com until Aizzah makes that power move with Google and gets us the regular email
Yeah.
back. We'll let you know when
Until
that happens.
then, keep
Hopefully-
sending your hate mail to sydandmike@gmail.com.
Oh my
Yeah.
If you don't like the podcast, send it to sydandmike@gmail.com.
I love how that's the thing that's keeping that account active. And so Google's not deleting it.
Oh, wait, no, they're like,
You're getting emails all the time.
Good
Anyway,
point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I'm feeling motivated.
me too.
Yay, me too.
Bye, y'all.
All right.
Thanks for a great show.
We did it. We motivated you.
Yay, yes, you did. You did. I'm going to do 1
That's all
hour a
we-
day.
That's all we wanted to do.
Podcast over.
All right, let's all go do Sid's job.
Hey.
Comedy Filmmakers Motivation Monday, the podcast, is a production of Dark Matter Entertainment and Phantom Strain Pictures. Our producer is Stasha Nonis Barnes, and our theme song is by Joseph Colmanero. Find us on YouTube and Instagram at Sid and Mike, or email us at sydandmikenyc@gmail.com.